So I'm upgrading my computer. It's been about 5 years or so that I built this box. It has two GTX 470s in SLI mode. It's got a Pentium i7 and DDR3s, about 12 gigs of RAM on an Asus P6T motherboard. And I'm replacing it with this new Sabertooth Asus motherboard Z97 Mark I, a 4.0 GHz Intel i7 quad-core LGA 1150 socket with a Kingston 240 GB SSD plus this Intel solid state 240 GB solid state drive. This would be primary, this would be secondary. I'm also installing the EVGA 770 GTX, 16 GB 1866 DDR3. So this monster's gonna fly. It's gonna last me hopefully for another 4 or 5 years, and I'm excited about building it. It's gonna take me a little bit to do. The first thing I have to do is I actually have to take all this stuff out. I'm keeping Corsair 1000 watt power supply. I will be removing these old hard drives and extracting the data out of them. This heatsink here, this is a Coolmaster V8 for the processor. I won't be using it for my next build. I'm just going to use the stock. This RAM will stay. Okay, so the two GTX 470s have been removed. Now to start unplugging all these cables that interface to the case, which is an Antec. Okay, so all the cables have been disconnected from the motherboard. The power has been disconnected. The auxiliary fan powers has been disconnected. And now we'll be taking all the little screws to remove the motherboard from this case. I took the little screws off the motherboard, and here we go. So that was it. It's time for the build. I gotta clean this up though. Gotta clean all the dust out of it. Okay, so here's the motherboard, and it comes with all of these accessories. There's an LSI interface if you're going to be putting two video cards in place. There's all these different types of filters. Some adapters, the DVD. There's also these little fans that you would install in here to cause airflow through the board. I need to work on. There's these dust protectors, SATA cables, and all sorts of different things. So at this point, I gotta take a pause, and I need this for the PC. It goes right in there in order to allow these connections to fall into place or fit nicely. So I gotta read this thick manual. I'm pretty sure it's different languages, and do this right. Yesterday I was showing you all my parts. Today I came to the realization that I needed to buy a new case. So I ended up buying this case here. It's a GT1 case with a 3.0 USB port in the front. So I just removed the power supply. So here's the hard drive cage. It's very dusty, so I gotta clean that. Dust all this out. I'm gonna take it outside right now. I bought me some air cans to do that job. There they are right there. Okay, I was able to clean my case. Cleaned it up really nice. I also cleaned up the V8 CPU cooler and the old video cards. I'm gonna go ahead and put that back. I've got the power supply out, and I'm going to assemble this so that I can get it out of the way so I can begin my actual project. And now it's time to work on the motherboard. Read that manual. We got to know what we're dealing with and what it is that we need to install here, such as these little fans and all this other stuff. I just removed this cap from here. And I'm going to install this fan here using the provided screws. And I'm going to grab this fan and I'm going to put it in this slot. So the fan is installed in both there and also right here, with the plug coming through the back and plugging into this power connector. Here is the brains of the operation. This little i7 processor is so itty bitty small, and yet the most important part of this computer, it's going to go right there. And then we have the heatsink fan that'll sit on top of it, and it snaps in place right onto the motherboard. So now we're going to go ahead and install the memory based on the manual. We're going with the middle illustration. That would be this one and this one. The beige. Nothing to it. I also had to install this little filter back here that pops out so that you can clean it as dust accumulates back here. So we're going to go ahead and open up this box now and see what's inside. Right off the bat, we get this bag with the accessories, nicely packaged. Alright, so this is the case right here. It's got a 3.0 USB interface, as well as a 2.0 mic speaker. But what really caught my attention was the top part of this thing. You can actually slide in a hard drive. You can pop out both panels, that way you can run your cabling in the back, giving as much airflow to where your components are going to be. That's an A+ thumbs up. There's the fan. So I'm going to be following these instructions, and the first thing it says is to install the power supply, so let's grab that. Okay, so that's all screwed in place, and I ran the cables to the back to hide all the cables from the front view, and also for maximum airflow. Okay, the next thing to do is to install the motherboard. And before I do that, I have to insert this, which comes with the motherboard. Using these screws here for the motherboard installation, finding the placements, these guys right here, and then putting this bad boy in there. So I put all the screws in. One there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so the next thing that they're saying to do now is to add any PCI cards. In this case, we're going to be adding this EVGA GeForce GTX 770. We're going to be putting it in that beige or tannish slot right there. First, I will have to come back here and remove this screw here to get this out, so I can go ahead and put that card in. Now the next thing is to do all the wiring from the case to the motherboard. And that would be using all these wires right here that come from the board and plugging them in these pins, which the motherboard comes with these quick connects. So I just gotta plug everything into here and then finally plug that into the board. Okay, so all the wiring is done. The next step is the hard drive installations. Here's a CD-ROM and a Sony, and we're also going to be installing this guy, which is a various different types of card readers to USB connection, and these 240 solid state drive. I got a Kingston and an Intel. The Intel will be primary, the Kingston will be a secondary drive. So I got the Sony DVD in place. I have both of the SSD drives and a 1 terabyte standard hard drive. I think it's 7200 RPMs. I wasn't able to put this in. I tried to do that, but the fact is that this is a 3.5, and it just won't look right here. It'll just have an open gap. So what I plan to do, since I had to remove this one from the top to put the CD in, I'm going to go ahead and modify this so that it fits right in front of this thing, and just cut out this rectangle right in here. So I'm going to work on running all the power cables now. Okay, so all the power hookup is basically complete. I just got to cable tie that. That's it for now. Let me go ahead and try to see if I can hook up a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse and see what happens. So the moment of truth has come. I got this thing plugged in. There's the monitor, there's the keyboard, there's the mouse. It's got LAN. We got one drive on it. Let's go ahead and put power to the power supply. Just push the button. Okay, so far we are getting power. I am seeing a logo. New CPU installed. Please enter the setup to configure the system. There we go. So let me go ahead and explore this for a little bit. I'll get back to you. We are now trying to install Windows 8 on this computer. And other than that, it's detected every single thing that I have in this thing. It's not acting weird. Only time will tell. It looks like we're off to the races. We'll see how long this thing takes. It's been a little while now since I've been doing Windows updates. I just finished doing the Windows 8.1 update. While I've been waiting, I did custom fit my all-purpose memory card reader by using a Dremel and then fitting that in there as neat as I possibly could. It's solid, it's not going nowhere. And a little bit of the little decor that comes with the case, and I still have to plug my memory card reader onto the board, but other than that, it has been running pretty well, doing its thing. I still have to update the video drivers and install a whole bunch of different applications that I am accustomed to using. I've got Norton's, I've got Origin, I've got Steam, I got to enable RDP, I got to install SolarWinds network engineering tool set. I also have a 1 terabyte hard drive that has all kinds of data on it. This was my old drive, so I have to go through that, figure out what I gotta delete, what I gotta keep, and then format that drive. In addition to that, I also have to go through all of these old hard drives here, as well as continuing installing the software that I need for this computer.
Are you ready? Hoorah! Let's do this! Mitchell! Arnold! Leon! Get done. North Korea was invading Seoul. We had to push it.
I think I'm ready.
This wasn't just a mission.